Hi, I'm Blair, and welcome back again to Cellar Notes. Today we're going to try something different. We get questions from lots of people in all three of our locations regarding a variety of topics. So we're going to call this Cellar Notes Question and Answer. Joining us today is Matt from Lakeville Liquors. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Blair. Thanks for having me. A typical question that a lot of our customers end up asking is what wine goes with what food? I'm having this for dinner tonight, and I'm having some people over, and I'd like to impress them with a bottle of wine.
That's a great question and one we hear a lot in the stores. Any of our knowledgeable staff at any three of our locations can help you out with your specific dinner ideas or your dinner plans for that evening. But keeping with the season, let's talk about wild game specifically. For example, duck or venison. With a duck or with any wild game, the flavor profiles are very strong indeed. They're usually very high in fat or extremely lean and very strong flavored. Thus, you need a strong flavored wine to keep the contrast there, to keep on the same page. With duck, I would recommend a nice Chianti or Chianti Classico, maybe some other premium Sangiovese or Super Tuscan. With venison, especially if you're having chops or maybe a nice venison steak, medium well, perhaps a nice Pinot Noir. I would go with a more of a French-style Pinot Noir, something that's a little stronger, not as delicate a flavor.
Another thing we see quite a bit of times is people coming up going, you know, these two labels are awfully similar. Can you tell me the difference between these two? Something like a Shiraz and a Syrah?
Certainly, and there are several kinds of wine in our stores that are very similar in both flavor profile, the name, and actually the origin. For example, the Shiraz and Syrah. Syrah is originated from France. That is the name of the grape, is Syrah. Shiraz has been commonly moved to Australia, and they've come up with the name Shiraz. Essentially, it's the same grape, a little bit different style they use in making it, but it's the same grape and very similar flavor profiles. Along that same page, Pinot Grigios and Pinot Gris. Pinot Grigio is what it's commonly referred to in Italy and elsewhere. Pinot Gris was popularized mainly in Oregon. They changed up the name a little bit. Another question we get is Fumé Blanc and Sauvignon Blanc, and what's the difference between those? Actually, there is no difference. The Fumé Blanc is made from the Sauvignon Blanc grape. A great marketeer named Robert Mondavi came up with Fumé Blanc in his vineyard years ago in California as a marketing tool, and it's stuck, and it's labeled both ways throughout the countries. Another great question we get a lot is, I had a really great wine in a restaurant the other day, and we really enjoyed it, and we'd like to purchase it and have it at home, but I can't seem to find it in your store. Why is that?
Typically, when doing a lot of special orders, I come up with a couple of different answers for that question. One of which is it's only available in restaurants. Vineyards usually keep very tight control over where their juice goes, and sometimes they only want it to be in restaurants for their own specific purposes. Also, sometimes there are restaurant-only labels when big mass producers like Gallo or Mondavi come out with a specific wine that they want to get distributed into a bunch of different areas. Sometimes they'll put it under a different label when they put it into a restaurant than they will when they're in an on-sale. Another common question we get is the vintage important? This one was made in 2000 and this one was made in 2001. Is there going to be a difference?
You know, that is a good question, and there is a difference, Matt, and it's not always easy to tell. One of the best ways is to read your publications, to see which region and which particular country or area had a really good growing season, and that's what really affects the vintage, is the growing season. Certain climates will have longer growing periods. If there's too much water during the summer, it can affect the grape, and thus a really good growing season in 2000 for wine that was really good, and another growing season in 2001 where the weather was not as well, they turn out completely different wines. Another reason that it might make a difference is, wineries are always changing as well. So they might be sourcing the grapes from a different vineyard, they might have changed winemakers. The only true way to figure out which one you like the best is to try a variety. If you like this 2001 vintage and then you try the same bottle and it goes to 2002 and you don't care for it, try something else. You'll find something you like. Matt, let me ask you this, and we get this question as well. How long after I open this bottle of wine, I probably won't drink it all tonight, I just want a glass or two with dinner, how long is it going to last?
Oh yeah, we do get that one a lot. Typically only a glass, open bottle of wine only lasts for a few days, 2 to 3 days while it's open. But there's a number of different enclosures that can change that. The Stelvin enclosure, the screw cap, Usually ends up extending the life of the wine for another day or two. They also make devices where you can actually suction the air out of the bottle, which will keep the wine from deteriorating. And bagged wine, box wine, comes in a sealed bag, and the enclosure, the tap on that one, doesn't let any air in, so those can typically last up to weeks. A common question people get when searching through the German section is, what do all these labels mean? This one says Cabernet, this one says Spätlese, this one says Auslese. What do these all mean? Are they different grapes? Are they different harvests? Do they taste different?
That is a good question, and yes, there is a different flavor profile. They are all made by the Riesling grape. Typically, they go from sweet to sweeter to sweetest, although all styles can be made in a drier style. What you'll typically see is the Cabernet being a fully ripened grape that's harvested and produced into wine. A Spätlese, which is not necessarily produced every vintage, is typically an overripe grape and has a sweeter tone and a little bit darker hue to it. The Auslese, which is also the Riesling grape, is produced very late, almost to where the grape has gone bad on the vine. And what they get is a very concentrated sweet flavor. Taking that one step further, an ice vine is actually grapes that have been almost turned into raisins and pulled off the vines after they've been frozen. And those are extremely decadent, great dessert wines, very rich honeysuckle, apricot type flavors.
A lot of people come into the store saying, I've recently become interested in wine, whether for health purposes or just curiosity, and they're wondering where they should start.
The popularity of wine is really expanded, and thus we're getting a lot of people asking questions and want to learn more about wine, want to become more educated. You know, the best tool is your own palate, and to try again. Try different wines, try different styles, try different vintages. And a good way to keep track of that is to keep a wine journal, so you know what wines you like, what wines you don't like, what flavor profiles you're looking for, so that the knowledgeable staff in the stores can help lead you to those types of wines that you actually enjoy. Also pay attention to the media and maybe some reviews that will give you good information about what the flavor profile of the wine is. And the best thing that I can recommend would probably be joining a wine club. We do have a wine club here at Lakeville Liquors, where we offer discounts in store and also have about 4 tastings a year where we get together and try 30 different wines or so, and it gives a great way to try an ounce or two of wine and determine if you really like that wine or not without actually having to make the purchase. Matt, I want to thank you very much for joining us here today. We appreciate you coming in and being with us. Thank you for watching Cellar Notes, and we'll see you next time.